guys, this is Gina from Sweet Inspiration. I'm here today with a off limits challenge from May May Made It. This is a challenge that May May and Shannon did recently, and I guess they had so much fun doing it that they decided to present it to the design team. So since I am on the May May Made It pictorial design team, I was sent this stamp set with this envelope and asked to complete this challenge. So, as of now, I know nothing about the challenge other than that I have to use this stamp set and I have to do whatever is in this envelope or play by the rules of what's in this envelope. Okay. Off-limits challenge. My project is to create 3 bookmarks decorated front and back. Now, as you can see here, it says off limits. So this means that I can't use any of these items. So I'm not allowed to use anything white. That's a tough one because my favorite embossing powder that I use a lot is white. So that's going to be a tough one. I am not allowed to use a scoreboard, bone folder, or trimmer. I cannot use a stamp positioner, sticky tape, or a ruler. Oof, that's going to be tough. How am I going to cut bookmarks without a ruler? And I can't use anything white. This is going to be interesting, but I'm going to dive right in and give it a shot and see what I come up with. So let's get started. For my first bookmark, I decided I'm going to use some craft paper because, again, I'm not allowed to use anything white. Now, the tricky part is going to be cutting this because I can't use a scoreboard, a bone folder, a trimmer, or a ruler. So no measurements here, and I guess we're just going to have to work with it, and that's okay because, honestly, I don't love measuring. So this is a good challenge for me. So for this, I'm going to start out with this stamp set, this stamp rather here, and I'm going to put it sideways, and I'm going to start with that first so that I can cut my bookmark size around that, since I can't measure the stamp and make sure that my bookmark is sized accordingly. I'm kind of going to work backwards. I'm going to use some VersaFine black ink for this. And I'm just going to get a good layer on here because I can't go back. I'm not allowed to use a stamp positioner. So here we go. All right, let's see what we got. You guys ready? All right, that's not so bad. I can live with that, right? What I think I'm going to try to do to get this shape of a bookmark, I'm going to go back to my old school grammar school folding days. So I went to Catholic school and there was always a lot of strict rules about what kind of notebooks we could use and line your pages up and make 3 columns. So I always remember doing a vocab test and they would tell us to fold our page into 3 columns, and that's how we would do it, just by lining up the edges. So I'm going to give that a shot. I'm using my acrylic block to smooth it out, not a bone folder, so I haven't broken any rules. And I'm going to go back the other way, and then I'm going to get my scissors and I'm going to cut. And I'm going to try to cut right along this line. Okay, here we go. Deep breath. All right, so far so good. Okay, whoo! Thank God it didn't say I couldn't use scissors or I'd be in trouble. Okay. Now, I'm going to definitely say this is too long. So I'm going to try and use the same technique. I'm going to go this way. Right. Grab my block again. Smooth that out. All right. I think we're doing good so far. Smooth this one out. Okay. Back to the scissors. Okay. You know what? I'm going to make it go that way because that looks like the letter C, and that's what my last name starts with. So there we go. And get a hole puncher up here. Now I'm going to give it some color. I'm going to use some alcohol markers. Color this up. And let's see how that works. So I've decided what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp it right here in between, and I think that will look so pretty. The verse is going to overlap the leaves a little bit, but I think that's okay. And I've decided that since I am going to put the sentiment right on this side with this image, I'm going to do an exact on the back, and I'm going to make the front and back exactly the same. The only thing I may do is on one side, I may add some glossy accents to the flowers. So I'm going to get started on that, and let's see how that turns out. I think that's okay, right? Okay, so I'm going to repeat the process on the back. So I've repeated the process again on the flip side. So it's the same on both sides. And I'm going to leave it just like that. Keep it clean and simple, little color. I've got this nice bright pink ribbon that I'm going to use to add a little pop to that. Like that. And I just usually like to give a little knot here. This ribbon is very silky, and I don't want to worry about that sliding out. So I'm going to do that. See if I can squeeze that down a little bit. And I think I can trim these off a bit. Okay, and I think just for one little last touch on one side, I'm going to do a little bit of a glossy accent on the flowers, just to give a little bit of interest to that, only on one side, so it'll kind of almost be like a front and a back. Okay. See that? So I'm going to set that aside to dry and move on to the next one. So for my next bookmark for the Off Limits Challenge, I decided to go with a rainbow theme. Rainbows seem to be a big trend. I know it became a big sign of hope and positivity during the recent events that have occurred in the last year. So I thought I would create something using rainbow colors. I'm going to work with the same craft cardstock again. I'm going to keep another clean, simple design. And I'm going to work right off of the same piece of paper that I had before. And what I've decided to do is I'm going to use this little small deer right here. And I think what I'm going to do is have a rainbow of deer on one side and then a rainbow of sentiments on the other. So let's see how that goes. This little guy is really cute. So I'm just going to start by running a rainbow of deer right down the cardstock, and let's see how far we get and what size we end up with. Because again, I can't use a ruler, so I can't measure this out. So let's see how it goes. I'm going to start off with a red ink. same thing like I did with the previous one to get the size. This one is going to be a little bit skinnier. Now for the back, I'm going to repeat the rainbow process using one of the sentiments. So I'm going to look for a smaller one. And I think I'm just going to stick with one of the simple "You're So Dear," because I can repeat that right down the middle in the rainbow colors. Now, I really thought it would have been fabulous if I had some rainbow ribbon to accent this. I don't have rainbow ribbon, but I do, however, have a whole bunch of different color twines that I recently got at the dollar store. So I figured we'll just use a rainbow color of twines. Oh no, I just realized something. I'm not allowed to use any white. What a bummer. Well, there goes that idea. Let's take this out and find something else. Alrighty, orange it is. And tag number 2 is complete. Front and back. We didn't use a trimmer. We didn't use a stamping platform. Tried to get those lined up as best as I could. And no white. And there you have it. There is bookmark number 2. So we're on our third and final bookmark. And I'm going to do one of my favorite color combos of blue and gold. So I'm going to emboss in gold onto navy cardstock. And we'll see how that goes. There we go. I think that's really pretty. So now I'm going to do the same process on the back with 2 different stamps from the set. But I don't want to risk doing the back and then trying to cut this and having it get cut off. So I think I'm going to try and get this sized out first. So I'm going to line up my edges and folds. And now I can work on the back. So since I've kind of been thinking of these things in terms of a front and a back, I'm going to do a little something to this just to give it a little more interest. I'm going to take my embossing pad and I'm going to run around the edges like this. I'm going to start off with 2 edges first. Let's see if we can just give it a little bit of gold edge like that. Now I just need to get my hole punched in that. Now, I did find some ribbon that has gold in it, and it's not white, it's off-white. So I'm going to show you against there. Hopefully that counts. So I'm going to cut a piece of that. I was trying to figure out if there was a way that I could braid it. Let's see. I'm just going to push that in through the braid, like that. Now I think what I'm going to do right there, I'm going to put a little glue dot right there. And then I'm going to take that end, and I think I'm going to put another one, a bigger one in the middle. I'll keep that down like that. And there is our third and final bookmark.